When you look in your navigation pane, and particularly when you're in the folders list view, you may notice there's a folder called Journal. What the journal does is it allows you to keep entries about the amount of time that you spend on different activities. For example, I can create a new journal entry by hitting the button Journal Entry to the left of the Home tab in the ribbon. If I click Journal Entry, what I can then do is put the subject to do with this particular journal entry. So this is a phone call to Anne. Notice the different types of entries you can have are listed in here. This is a phone call, but I could be recording the amount of time I spent on a remote session, the amount of time I spent perhaps working with a particular type of document, or the amount of time I spent in a meeting, or preparing a letter or a fax. There are all sorts of activities that you can choose from, but I'll leave it on phone call. What I'll do is I'll record the fact that I made a phone call at 1:30 and that the phone call went for 5 minutes. If I didn't want to stipulate what time in the minutes, I could just start the timer. And if I click the start timer and then make the phone call, the duration will start ticking over automatically, and it'll keep a record of the amount of time I was spending on that phone call. When I click Save and Close, I can see I've got a journal entry, and this was a phone call that was made for 5 minutes on this date and this time. Besides creating manual entries for the amount of time you spent in a meeting or a phone call or working on a particular document, you can also set up Outlook to automatically record the amount of time you do certain activities. For this, you click on File in the ribbon and you click on Options. On the left hand side, you click Notes and Journal. And if I just move this over a little bit, then in the Journal Options group, I'd click the button Journal Options. And what I can ask Outlook to do is automatically record these types of items. For example, every time I send an email to Charlie Tettenberg, it will record the amount of time I spend doing that. Also, I can ask it to automatically record every time I work with these types of files. And the journal will just start automatically populating based on these files. And I'll click OK. And I'll click OK. And that's the journal.